There once was a family that slept under the stars. One night they were awoken by the sound of heavy paws at the entrance of their tent. At first they assumed it was just a harmless animal looking for food. But when the commotion outside the tent continued, they became more concerned. A man, his wife, and their 2 kids were camping out in the wilderness. They pitched their tent near a watering hole, hoping to get a glimpse of some wildlife. That's when they heard the loud crashing sounds just outside their tent. Startled, the man poked his head out to see what was going on. And that's when he saw the most majestic lioness he had ever seen in his life. The beast was nudging the tent with her massive paw, trying to get inside. The man quickly retreated back into the tent, yelling for everyone to stay quiet. He signaled to his wife and kids to stay low as he slowly unzipped the tent flap. Peeking his head out again, he could see the lioness was still there, patiently waiting for them to leave. With shaking hands, the man opened the tent all the way, and the lioness wasted no time in slinking inside. The family froze in fear, unsure of what to do next. But the lioness didn't seem interested in harming them. She simply curled up next to the man's dog, who was also quite shaken by the sudden visitor. As the night wore on, the family kept an eye on the lioness, who seemed to be fast asleep. They couldn't believe how lucky they were to have such a magnificent creature sleeping so close to them. But they were also worried about what would happen when she woke up. In the morning, the family was awoken to the sound of the lioness snoring loudly. They were so relieved that she hadn't tried to hurt them in the middle of the night. As the sun began to rise, the lioness got up and stretched, then ambled over to the tent flap and looked out into the morning light. The family watched nervously as the lioness took a few tentative steps outside the tent. Then, to their surprise, she turned around and trotted back to her den. The family let out a collective sigh of relief and began to make breakfast. As the day wore on, the family decided to pack up and move to a new campsite. They carefully folded up the tent, making sure not to leave anything behind. As they were packing up, they heard a loud crash in the bushes nearby. They froze in fear, wondering if it was the lioness or maybe another wild animal. As they turned to look, they saw a small bush baby scrambling up a tree. They all laughed in relief, feeling a little silly for being so scared of a tiny monkey. As they packed up the rest of their things, they couldn't help but feel grateful that their encounter with the lioness had been peaceful. They had been lucky to witness such a magnificent creature in its natural habitat without being harmed. As they drove away, they knew they would never forget their night under the stars with the lioness. That's all for today. See you next time.